guys, it's Chad here from CNR Reviews. We got another comparison video to do, but this one's a little bit different. I know we've been doing a lot of carry videos and a lot of comparisons between the carry guns. This is going to be a comparison between two different 22 long rifle pistols that I think are going to be great options for people who want to go plinking. As you can see, it was a Ruger box. We have the Ruger SR22 that you guys are familiar with. We have been playing with this guy for a few months now, and what a fun gun. Definitely well worth the money. If you guys can get one of these, I know they're very hard to come by, I would check it out. We're going to talk basically about the features, the function, the takedown, and what the gun comes with, and the price. Let's set the Ruger aside. And we have a Smith & Wesson here. I'm sure most of you guys know. This is the Smith & Wesson M&P 22. And so we'll go ahead and sit that guy aside. I'll toss the mag in there. And so let's talk about the guns. First of all, these are both blowback operated. And what that means is, let's go and let's take them down and we'll show you. The SR22 is a simple takedown lever that you have to push down right here. If you can't get it down with your finger, I recommend using the base plate of the magazine. You push that down, go and drop the mag, pull the slide to the rear, lift up and off. And there's a blowback. What that means is that the barrel is actually attached to the frame instead of the barrel actually going into the slide like so many semi-autos do. Now the M&P is the exact same way. Let's go ahead and let's take this guy apart. Now, this one has a little lever here. This is one of my complaints on the M&P actually, is that the takedown lever, as you can see right there, is actually plastic. I wish that was metal, to be honest, because you're wrenching on it, and I don't know how well you guys can see, but it's just a very thin piece of plastic. And as you wrench on it, I just am assuming that this is eventually going to break with wear and tear. But same thing, pull the slide to the rear, lift up, and there you go. Spring comes off. You got the guide. You have the spring rod and the Diego. Spring and guide rod come out, and there you go. Again, blowback system, as you guys can see. Barrel is attached to the frame. Let's go and look at the internals on both of these guys. Well, you guys can see them. They're very similar. The biggest difference between these two is that the hammer on the M&P is actually inside of the slide while it's actually going. The SR22 is actually on the outside, as you can see there. Other than that, as far as barrel length, there's just a real quick comparison. There's barrel length. You do have a threaded barrel on the M&P, but it's about a good 3/4 of an inch to an inch difference there. Remember, these both shoot 22 long rifle, and these both are good guns when it comes to shooting cheap federal bulk ammo. I know a lot of people don't want to go and spend the $6 or $7 on a box of 100 mini mags when you can get 525 rounds for 16, 17 bucks of just federal bulk ammo. And these make it really nice because you can these still function with that cheap bulk ammo. And I'm actually impressed with both of them. They don't function 100% all the time, and we'll get to that once we rebuild them. To put them back together, you have the guide rod and spring, goes into a specific hole, and the slide goes on. You pull the slide to the rear, push down, push that takedown lever back up, and you're ready to go. It does have a magazine disconnect, meaning that you cannot fire the weapon until the magazine is in, and then you're fine. This guy is a double action, single action. Double action meaning that I can just pull the trigger and I can actually engage the hammer. I don't have to have the gun cocked like that. Let's go ahead and put back the M&P. We have the guide rod and spring, and it goes back the same way all the way to the rear. Drop it on there, push the takedown lever back in, flip it back up, you're ready to go. Same thing, magazine disconnect, pull the trigger. Now this guy's not a double action, it's a single action. As you can see, I have a mag in there, pulling the trigger, nothing's happening. I have to actually cock the weapon and then it fires, so it's a single action only. As you guys can see, I don't know if you guys can see the oil popping up, but these are very highly oiled. And the reason why I keep them so oiled is because I want them to function with that cheaper ammo, and I find that if they're too dry, they don't do very well with the bulk ammo. Let's go ahead and show you the sights. Now the Ruger sights are fully adjustable. As you guys can see, you do need to have some type of very small screwdriver. Recommend like a little eyeglass repair kit, something like that. Really nice 3-dot combat sights. The M&Ps are also fully adjustable, as you guys can see there. You can actually drift the sight left or right for windage, and then up or down for elevation. You just have 1 dot in the front with the M&P, which in some ways, actually, I kind of like it. It makes it kind of easy to just keep your front sight on target. Both the sights are phenomenal. I do enjoy them. Let's look at the size comparison, guys. I don't know how easy you guys can see that. The M&P dwarfs SR22. We'll stick them beaver tail to end, and there you go. There's the size difference between the M&P and the SR22. It is a significant difference. Width is very similar. The M&P is still thicker. Even the grip area, as you guys can see, is entirely different. The M&P is longer. You guys got to remember, this is a full-size gun, and it's to be used in a training situation with like a full-size M&P, a 9mm, 40, 45, something like that. The SR22 is, I would consider it a subcompact. It's actually very similar in size to a, and I mean in length and stuff, to like a Glock 26, Car CW9, somewhere around there. So which one is the better of the two guns? And this kind of comes down to preference. You know, I really like Rugers, and I really like Smith & Wesson. I think they both do a great job making weapons. They both make revolvers, they both make semi-autos, they both make ARs, they do 22s, and they're pretty successful on all counts. I think they're great guns. Me personally, depends on price, and it depends on what comes with the gun, and then how well it functions. Now, what comes with the Smith & Wesson is you get 1 magazine. You do get a nice box. The magazines are very expensive, and they are very hard to find. The only place I could actually find the mags for this guy, and I actually ordered a second one, it was $42 after I ordered it off of SmithandWesson.com. And that was the only place I could get it. Not only that, it took 3 weeks for them to process it, and I still haven't received the damn magazine. Absolutely crazy. So I'm assuming they have a high demand for them. And I've looked at Cabela's, I've looked at Sportco, I've looked at any gun shops in our area, and nobody that I know of is carrying the 22 long rifle magazines for the M&P 22. And there's what they look like. I have seen some that are similar, but do not be fooled. You want to make sure that they have the proper lips and stuff. Make sure you pay attention. And that's about all. Like I said, the M&P does have a threaded barrel, so they do give you some tools. They also give you some sight adjustment tools, which is nice. I do like that. Let's go over what the Ruger comes with. The Ruger actually comes with a second grip. You get 2 different grips, and they are interchangeable depending on what size you want, if you want one that's bigger or smaller. They also give you 2 magazines. Here and here, they're 2 round, and there are 10 round magazines. Oh, I forgot to tell you, the M&P's mag is a 12 rounder. 2 10-round magazines. They give you 2 different types of floor plates for each of them. You can have the one with the extended pinky, or you can have a flat base plate, like so. Either one works great. Remember, these guns are 22s. They have no recoil, really. They both have a Picatinny reel in the front. If you want to throw some type of tack light on there, a laser, that is an option. For me personally, I don't care. I don't really throw anything on my 22s. I'm not going to be carrying these guys into battle. Or into a defensive situation. Now, we have talked about this guy being used as a defensive weapon, and I think that is a viable case for the SR22, especially with it being so tiny. You could use that. The M&P is too big, as far as I'm concerned, to be used as a defensive 22, when there's so many other options out there. Instead of this big guy, the P22 from Walther, there's a ton of other guns. So Other than that, let's talk about price. The SR22 cost me $313. After tax, I was looking at around $330, close to $340. The Smith & Wesson I have seen go for as high as $400, $399, and that is at Cabela's. That is at some of the bigger box stores. I was able to find this guy at Sportco in Fife, Washington, for $350 even. Out the door I was around $380, so I was about $40 more than the SR22 after tax. Now let's talk about functionality. Remember, they're both a blowback system. They can both handle the cheap bulk ammo. Do they always like to handle the cheap bulk ammo? No, they don't. You will get malfunctions every now and then because sometimes the bulk ammo just does not have enough powder to push the slide. It'll have enough to eject the casing, but not to fully bring the sight all the way back to load the next round. And I've experienced that happening with both guns. Same thing with the M&P. It'll have just enough to eject, like right there, not enough to bring it all the way back and load the next round. And so you'll shoot and there's nothing there. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen, so be prepared for it to happen. It's not the gun's fault. It is the ammo. I will say though, as the guns both get dirty, especially if you take them out to the range or you're playing with them, after about 150, 200 rounds, they do start to malfunction. And it's just because the 22 round is filthy, it is dirty. You really want to take the gun home or clean it, or that's what usually when I bring out the mini mags and start throwing them in there, and again, the guns function flawlessly on those. Do I have a complaint about either one of them? My biggest complaint actually on both is I hate the whole stupid Stanley. So guys, do I have a big problem with either one of them? No. I think they're both great guns. There's a couple dislikes I have on both though. Let's talk about those. First of all, I hate the magazine disconnects. And I really think that Smith & Wesson could have done without them. I really think that Ruger could have done without it. I think it's a stupid feature. The other thing I don't like is the ambidextrous safety on the M&P. It's freaking massive. And it doesn't click into place. It just is just a plain just push up. And there's no signal or there's nothing to actually say that it's actually unsafe. I would almost prefer the gun to be without it, or to figure out some other way to do it, maybe like the SR22. The SR22's ambidextrous safety is a decocker and it's a safety, and it's very close to the frame, which actually helps. Instead of having this big goofy thing sticking out, this gun is already big enough. It doesn't need that. Other than that, I've got no other complaints on the M&P. I do have a big complaint on the SR22, and I actually did a review on it, and I forgot to tell you guys this. But this gun bites me. And what I mean by that is when I bring the slide back, and when the slide is cycling, this hammer sits so low, it hits me right here on my hand. And within a couple rounds, I've got a freaking bruise there. If I shoot 100, 150 rounds, you should see the red mark I get from that. My solution is to lop off the little hammer end right there, but I don't know what that's going to do as far as, is that going to cause light strikes now? What is that going to do? I'm not sure. If Ruger could get rid of that, I would be a happy camper. I will tell you that is one of my biggest complaints on this gun, and it actually prevents me from shooting it sometimes because I'm just going, M&P 22, it doesn't do that. Boom, boom, boom. I don't have to worry about it. I could grip the gun a different way. You could actually almost kind of limp wrist the gun because it's got no recoil and actually grip it low like that, but it's intended to be gripped high, just like all guns. And so when you do that, again, it hits the fat part of your hand. And, you know, I don't have considerably large hands either. There's people with way bigger hands, and I cannot imagine what it's doing to their hands. So that's my biggest complaint. Out of the two, which one do I shoot the most? Lately, I've been shooting the M&P the most. Everybody who shot the gun loves it. Same thing with the SR22, really. Everybody who shot it loves it. But I have heard some complaints on the SR22 when it comes to the takedown lever. If you look on YouTube, there's a lot of videos of guys having problems. And I mean considerable problems where the takedown lever is actually blowing apart during the shooting process. I don't understand how it's doing that. I've even taken the gun apart and looked at it. I don't know why it's malfunctioning like that. It just is very odd. I would say that it was due to like stingers or something like that, a really higher velocity 22 round. But then when you see these guys shooting and they're not shooting those, it doesn't make sense, and they're catching it on video. So all I can say is, Ruger, you guys need to do some quality control on that and get that fixed. And there's quite a few videos on that, guys, so just be aware. I haven't heard anything of happening recently, and this is a brand new first production SR22, and I haven't experienced it, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to experience that in the future. So either one of these guys I don't think you can really go wrong with. These are a great training tool. They're also a great tool to maybe introduce your wife, your girlfriend, your sister, even a first-time shooter. You got a buddy who's never shot before, give him a 22 before you give him a 9 or 45 or something like that. Let them shoot the 22, get used to the function of a weapon, and then when they do shoot the 9mm, they'll be more prepared for recoil. They'll know how to work the weapon. They'll know how to maybe, well, especially since 22s fail so much, they'll definitely know how to clear malfunctions, and then they'll actually feel a little bit safer shooting the guns. But guys, I think you guys should both check out both these weapons. They're both great guns, and that's really just a comparison for size, function, takedown, price, what comes with the weapons, and I think either one of them is a good deal. Remember though, for the price of the Smith & Wesson, you are paying about $40 more and you only get one mag. That is a problem, and I think Smith & Wesson should send you a second magazine, especially when I almost paid as much for an M&P shield. I only paid $20 or almost $30 more for my shield, and I got 2 mags. So I don't see why Smith & Wesson couldn't throw in an extra. They're trying to pull a little sly one that Ruger's been doing lately because nobody's pissed off at Ruger and demanding second mags. And I'm actually surprised Ruger gives 2 because they've been up to no good in giving 1. So check them both out. If you guys got any questions on either one of these great 22 long rifle pistols, feel free to ask. Check out our comprehensive videos on both.